Back up, chases John Elway and comes in and makes the tackle. Think this guy's not enjoying his Super Bowl experience?
And he can just tee off now. It's 4th and 17. Broncos go for it at the 45-yard line. 9:46 left in the game. And there's a marker. And Elway comes back the other way. And he hits Johnson, who gets inside the 20 and is tackled at the 12-yard line. And a penalty flag. At the inception of the play. And we'll bring it back.
The one problem you have with a scrambling quarterback, a blocker trying to feel pressure.
Holding, number 62, offense. 3rd down.
Blocker is blocking against pressure, and all of a sudden your quarterback steps outside, and you feel the pressure release, and all of a sudden you make a grab and you get caught for holding.
Mike Freeman, the man called for holding, the free agent that had to step into some awful big shoes when Billy Bryan went down with a knee injury earlier in the year. And Mike Freeman, a guy who'd been in Denver's camp for a couple of years, working up front against Marcus Cook, number 74, and pretty easy to see when you get that left arm onto the guy's back. But even though it really wasn't the type of hold that kept Cook from going anywhere, anytime you wrap it all the way around like that, you're running the risk of the umpire seeing it and throwing the flag. But Mike Freeman has played very well for Denver down the stretch, and it's a shame that this one last game is what these guys have to live with until the beginning of training camp.
On 4th and 27, they now decide to punt. And Horan's kick goes out of bounds at about the 28-yard line. 9-11, and Washington can begin to run it down now. They're on top by a score of 42-10.
Who makes his home in Belleville, Illinois, hometown of Jimmy Connors.
Yep. Calgary 88. The Olympic adventure begins. Our preview look at the Winter Olympics next Sunday, 2 Eastern time on ABC. And it's coming up, the opening ceremony from Calgary, Saturday the 13th in the afternoon. And at night, the games get underway. Hockey, the U.S. Olympic team against Austria.
You'll be there, right?
And you will too. And Frank will too. From the 25-yard line. Smith on his way to a Super Bowl record. Out to the 31-yard line. He picks up a total of 6.
I'm going to come up with a new game show, and it's going to be called Guess That Play.
Counter.
And anyone who plays defense for Denver will have an automatic head start.
What happened to you, big guy? What's going on here?
Oh, thanks. Oh, thanks a lot, guys in the truck.
Well, it's got an extension on it.
Oh, I see. Well, we've declared war, I see.
Couldn't fit it in.
Thanks, Larry.
2nd and 4 from the 31-yard line. There it is again. Timmy Smith. There's a Super Bowl record as he takes it out to the 40-yard line, breaking Marcus Allen's mark.
Same play, left side.
20 for 197 now.
Timmy Smith, 5th-round draft pick. He has been sensational. But the blocking he's getting up front is absolutely incredible. That's the record. The man who held the record that Timmy Smith has just erased.
So the rushing mark goes down and the passing mark goes down on the same day. And total yards as well. Smith to the 44-yard line. Bobby Beathard, the old surfer. Grew up in Southern California in El Segundo.
I think he's trying to get somebody to go upstairs to tell Mr. Cook that they might have to give Timmy Smith a raise after this.
I'd like to talk it over. Bobby Beathard, of course, very instrumental with the Miami Dolphins in the early 70s before coming to the Redskins back in 1979. Had some phenomenal selections of players, free agents, draft picks. We're watching a lot of them perform today.
2nd and 7 from the 43-yard line. A couple of more yards for the new record holder as he takes it out to the 46-yard line. And Jay Schrader, kind of the forgotten man, but as we said before, I think the once and future quarterback of for the Redskins. Here's a guy goes to the Pro Bowl last year, winds up on the bench in the Super Bowl the next.
What a classy way he's handled a controversy that could have developed and really did not develop in Washington, as did, of course, Doug Williams. Both been so supportive. He stepped in. He runs the scout team, just like Doug Williams used to run the scout team, and they work hard. He's accepted that job, and he's done it well.
Smith comes out. Bryant in on third down. And Kelvin Bryant, first down and a lot more, takes it down to the Bronco 40-yard line.
Well, you'd think the Redskins have not got a little mileage out of USFL players. There's one of the great ones. The Stars, Philadelphia, later Baltimore.
I don't think I've ever seen a team take one play and run it as often as Washington is running this counter gap, and seen another team who can't do anything about it.
A lot to do with the size involved, when you say, Dan.
Well, they're just getting erased at the point of attack, and the two off linemen are just getting up through the hole, whether it's Tillman and May coming from the right or McKenzie and Jacoby coming from the left. I bet they've run that play 20 times today.
From the 40. Hey, they figured it out.
Stopped it.
Yeah. Now that's the ticket.
One of the things the Denver Broncos knew they had to do last year after they were blown away by the Giants 39-20 was to get bigger. They tried to get bigger, and they couldn't. They drafted in the 27th round, and Natil was still around, so they took him. And they finally moved Simon Fletcher from defensive end to linebacker over the left side. He's much bigger than Jim Ryan was over there. They moved Jim Ryan over the right side. And then they lost Freddie Gilbert at defensive end, and they had to bring Cragen back at nose tackle. Andre Townsend left nose tackle, went out to defensive end, and they're right back about where they were a year ago in terms of size.
Second and 13. Bryant. Tackled at the 37-yard line.
And just instinctively, a great professional, he stays in bounds, keeps that clock moving.
That time it was Donnie Warren, the tight end, who came in motion for about 1 yard, came to a stop, and then had a trap block to the inside. I don't know that I ever watched the Washington Redskins operate offensively where I'm not just seriously impressed as to the coaching wizardry of this guy right here, Joe Gibbs. He makes more people do more things during the course of a game, and they all seem to do it well.
Percentage-wise, the winningest coach in the NFL.
37-yard line. Third and 6. Sanders, and has the first down as he steps out of the 29-yard line. You know, the amazing thing, too, about Joe Gibbs, you go to Central Casting, he's about the 900th guy you'd pick as a football coach. I mean, he gets the role of accountant or science teacher, doesn't he?
I was with Joe 5 years in St. Louis under Don Coryell. Don Coryell came to St. Louis in '73, brought this guy, Joe Gibbs, as his offensive backfield coach. Jim Hannafin was the offensive line coach, and Rod Dahar was the quarterback coach. That entire offensive staff went on to become head coaches in the National Football League, and Joe Gibbs hasn't done bad with it.
And Happiness is leading 42-10 with under 3-4 minutes to play.
Kelvin Bryant. Clock down to 3.5 to go. Redskins with a 35-point explosion in the second quarter. And they have scored the only touchdown here in the second half. George Rogers is in the game. 42-10.
You know what's a neat feeling right now is if you're Joe Jacoby or Raleigh McKenzie or Jeff Bostic or R.C. Tillman or Mark May, the offensive line of the Washington Redskins, got to throw Donnie Warren in there as well, and Clint Didier. It's a nice feeling to go up that line of scrimmage and know you own it. You've owned it all day. You just look at each other, make eye contact, and it's a sweet feeling.
Second and 8. Rogers to the 23. You look at Dan Reeves and the Denver bench, and all week Reeves saying how terrible it felt to go home last year after losing the Super Bowl. Well, if last year was bad, this baby is awful.
How about what Pat Bowlen said? He took the loss especially hard last year, the owner of the Denver Broncos, and twice in a row they've got that long flight back to Denver, knowing they weren't close. got dusted off pretty good by the Giants last year.
Next to Manley. Good football game. We'd have a very sore thumb tomorrow. And how about Doug Williams?
How about Doug Williams?
Playing 20 members of his family. And he was, I think, as occupied with that the other day as he was with anything. His little daughter, Ashley, also here to watch her pop put on quite a show. Yo-yo type of year. We could say that for a career. And Timmy Smith, we understand, got a lot of votes. The record performance by Timmy Smith.
Well, I'm one of the guys that cast the ballot here, and I have to admit I voted for Doug Williams.
Have to.
Mostly because I think what Timmy Smith did was because of the Redskin offensive line.
3rd down and 4. And it's Rogers seeking the first down and getting it and running out of bounds at the 18-yard line. Malibu Kelly Hayes pointing out to me that the Redskins, so well noted as a team when a guy gets over 100 yards rushing, they normally win, and that was the case today. But in the past, it used to be Riggins and Rogers, and today it's a man by the name of Timmy Smith.
In the 5 yards. Recently, the home time to San Diego. Host was Super Bowl 22. Presented by America. Moving back is most favorable when it comes to setting records in the cricket time. 1974, as a senior at San Diego County, Host was on high and set a national touchdown record in Alabama. The same year, he became the state cricket touchdown for the 2nd year in a row. In 1985, he set the world record of 58 feet 11 inches. He won the Jesse Owens Award as the outstanding track-and-field athlete in the United States. Test your football knowledge and guess this. Presented by Rush. .154 remaining in the game as the Washington Redskins stand ready to accept their 2nd Vince Lombardi trophy. The other coming following the 1982 season, which ironically was a strike year when they came from behind to beat Miami in the Super Bowl. 18-yard line. Run out the clock as George Rogers takes it for a gain of 3. George Hill pointing out Williams 18 of 29, 340 yards today, 4 touchdowns. That is a Super Bowl record, and we've been detailing them as they go along. We can wrap some of them up. Ricky Sanders besting Lynn Swann old mark. Timmy Smith erasing Marcus Allen's name. Doug Williams rubbing out Joe Montana's mark. Most TD passes in a game, 4 by Doug Williams, tying Terry Bradshaw. Longest pass play, that's a tie with Plunkett throwing to Kenny King, Williams to Sanders, and that made it 10-7. That was a key play early on in the game.
Not to mention all the records that were broken in the 2nd quarter alone.
Doug Williams, 4 touchdown passes coming in that 2nd quarter.
Yep. Keith Griffin is in the game at running back. They may give him a chance to carry the ball, and they do, and why not? And Archie's brother takes it down to the 13-yard line. And Washington can run one more play and go back to the dressing room. And The Broncos again get to the Super Bowl, but again will have to settle for being the AFC champions. Joe Bugel, the line coach.
What a job he's done. Redskins offensive line totally dominant from the second quarter on.
His line has helped that team pick up 603 total yards. And Doug Williams and the Skins will run off one more play, and then the celebration will begin.
This ends what has been a class week for the Washington Redskins and Doug Williams in particular. Our congratulations to Joe Gibbs, the Redskins, and in particular Doug Williams. Sensational.
And the same too for the Denver Broncos. You don't lose it all. There's Danny Rees. Class player, class coach, class organization. You don't win your conference championship, and even though you get blown away in the Super Bowl, it's a pretty good organization. They need some work. They knew they needed it a year ago. They need some heavy work on the defensive unit, and they'll go out and get it done.
Well done, not quite what we expected. There was a big play in the first quarter when Sanders took that 80-yard pass. Is that what sort of turned the game round?
Well, that was certainly a big play. I think that the play that turned it around was the 80-yard touchdown pass when they were behind 10-0, and Williams got it off, and they scored and made it 10-7. And then after that, it was a record-setting second quarter. Second half wasn't anything to write home about. Pretty dull second half. Denver had the ball, and they had a interception, and they had to punt 4 times in the second half. The Washington defense was outstanding.
Yeah, and well, the Redskins scored more in the second quarter than most teams do in a game, don't they?
Well, there's no question. It's record-setting second quarter, and I've never seen an explosion like that.
Okay, well, we didn't actually see the close game we thought it would be, but we did see some great touchdowns. Yeah, that's it, Frank.
Touchdown!
Doing much.
2 of the 3 amigos already with a long reception, and this is Steve Sewell who's going to throw. He throws back to Elway the other way, inside the 20, down to the 13-yard line. Rich Karlis, 24-yard field goal attempt. Gary Kubiak puts it down, and Karlis' kick is... And Williams going deep. Sanders beats Haynes. Sanders out in front. 80 yards, touchdown.
Hello, sports fans.
Whoa. Third down, short 2. Long 1 from the 28. Williams for Clark. Touchdown. Rich Karlis now. This will be a 43-yard attempt. Gary Kubiak, the backup quarterback to Elway to hold.
Well, he hooked that one, didn't he? To tell you something about some drops, if you plug in there, what kind of percentage he's got.
He's thrown for 210 yards, and Smith wide open. 40, 30, inside the 20. Timmy Smith going down the sideline. Timmy Smith is in there. First and 10. Fake to Smith. Williams deep for Sanders again. Makes the catch at the 10. Touchdown. Oh. 4 at the 8-yard line with Sanders in motion. And he lost it for Didier. And as Frank said, it's getting to be Didier time. Touchdown.
Big man, so effective down there.
Second down, 3. And it figures. Timmy Smith for the touchdown. You deserve it, Timmy.
What a place to grow into a star, the Super Bowl. A whole lot of people around the country have never heard of this.
Well, the Redskins with the second biggest winning margin in Super Bowl history. I bet they're going to have one hell of a party tonight.
They are, and that's so surprising because Denver's supposed to be the offensive team. They say offense sells tickets and defense wins championships, and the Redskins' defense today shut down Elway, and they're noted for a strong defense. The amazing thing is that the Denver Broncos have now lost 3 Super Bowls, and they've lost 3 of them to NFC East teams. Dallas, the Giants, and now Washington.
Yeah. Well, we've got highlights tomorrow at 5 o'clock. I'm going to take some more money off Andy tonight because, of course, Andy went for the Denver Broncos and I picked the NFC and the NFL champion, the Washington Redskins. We'll see you soon.